So, I've been meaning to make a video about how I got into the Raúl Esparza fandom and also do into part of Steffi's post asking people about how they got into it. So, mine's a little bit quick. Um, so, I've been in the Raúl fandom since about September 2015. And it all began when my friend Julian was like, hey, there's a character on SVU named Rafael Barba, and he's the ADA slash lawyer character on there. I think you'll like him. He's sassy and has like attitude and does his own thing. Well, at the time. So I finally, he was like, you need to watch his intro episode, which was, the infamous Bell episode. Um, so I watched it and I was like, holy shit. like, did he just do that? And so I fell in love with the character of Barba. But I actually got into his acting too, just because he was like the main reason why I watched SVU again, because at the time I used to watch it until like Stabler left, and I know it sounds like um but then researching into him more, because I just, I just like the way he acted. I didn't realize how big of a Broadway star he was. So, I just researched like his other shows, and the one that really got me into his, um, like, really into his acting was when I saw Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Like, Caractacus Potts has my heart, especially um, because I really love the movie with Dick Van Dyke. Um, and his rendition of Hushabye Mountain it was just so beautiful and haunting and just lovely. And then his rendition of Hair, too, because I like the original version, I think, from 1969. Um, and that one just blew that one out of the way, out of the water. I mean, sorry. Um, and I'm like, wow, this guy not only is an actor, but he's a wonderful singer. Like, and it just fell down into this rabbit hole of getting into his fandom. Now, the funny thing is, um, now I've seen him live about now 9 times. Now that I just saw Chess. And the first time actually I saw him was at San Diego Comic Con in 2014. But at the time, I wasn't a fan of his. I was there at the panel he was at just for Hannibal, like just the overall general Hannibal fandom. So when they announced there was going to be a special guest, like everybody was trying to guess who was it. I think I don't think they were trying to guess if it was like Mess or somebody else, or and then they said, "Oh, our special guest is Raul Esparza," and I'm like, "Wait, who's he on the show?" And then they said, "Oh, he's the guy who plays Frederick Chilton." And when they brought him out, I didn't recognize him at all because, he had the beard, he had a Hawaiian shirt, he's basically on vacation. Um, and then I'm like, it's still not clicking in my head because, when people change their appearance, I sometimes don't recognize them. It's kind of sad. And so they said, oh, Frederick Chilton, and, when they show stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then it finally clicked. I was like, oh, the asshole. So way before I got into the fandom, I was like, I called Chilton an asshole. I'm sorry. But he is what he is. And then, but it's kind of funny that I saw him live before I got into the fandom. And then after that, I realized like how lucky I was to see him because, at San Diego Comic-Con, because, you know, not a lot of people have, and I'm like, and also, too, at San Diego, before I forget, I did have friends that were fans of his, especially like my friend Julian and my friend Danny, and they said, "Oh, if you can you take, you know, pictures at the panel?" And I did, and here are some that I took at the panel. But then I also knew that NBC had a booth down in the exhibit hall, and and Hannibal was gonna do autograph sessions, so I was gonna go down there and try to get a picture of him. Now, it took me 2 times to get a picture of him because this first one, um, it didn't come out good. Like, somebody just walked in as soon as, like, I clicked the button. And I only have a point and shoot. I don't have a cell phone that can, like, do it right away. It takes time with this point and shoot. And it still does, like all the ones I ever buy. So, I don't know if people know this, because sometimes people only think you can only take a picture once around the autograph booth, but no, you can do it as many times as you want, just as long as, like, you don't get in the guards' way, because the guards will tell you, like, do it and go. You legit have only 1 second to do this, because it starts crowding, and then the fire marshals and junk get in the way. Um, so I walked around again. I walked around the booth, and then I finally got a good picture, and it's this one. Um, and I was like, yay! And I felt so happy because, like, since my friends couldn't be there and they were fans of his, and, you know, they still are, I was just so happy that I was able to do that. And yeah, so that's my how I got into the Raúl fandom slash side story. Bye.